Welcome to this new Flight Simulator update movie. Yesterday, a new update was released for the beta version of Sim update number 14. This will result in two different version numbers. So 1.35.17.0 for the Xbox and 1.35.18.0 for the PC version. Asobo says that I would say, fixes are included in both of the updates, right? So which is, I would say, kind of weird because why are you releasing two version numbers? But maybe there's some logic behind it. The issue with the assistant settings, which are being reset to the default settings, is still, let's say, an issue. So hopefully they will fix it prior to releasing the real update. There are some new content and features. The first one is the Airbus A320, the V2 version, which has been updated, right? So there are a lot of enhancements which they announced previously during the development calls. So looking forward to test this one. As well as a general bug fix is included. The automated weather report temperature reading was not correct. That's now being fixed. Other than that, there are a lot of, say, glass cockpits and aircraft updates. First of all, the G1000 NXI. There are a few new things. So there's some new functionality. Two, to be honest. So first of all, they added support for the control pad entry for the constraint selector in the FPL dialog, as well as the support for the LVL and to-go autopilot modes. So the autopilot had an update, right? And also the constraint support in the flight plan received, I would say, some new functionality. In addition to that, they also made some changes and fixes. One of them was the transponder display to show the transponder code. It's now in white, in alt, and on mode when on the ground, as well as a bug was being fixed. Also in the transponder, but then in the keypad, where the entry would break when the transponder mode selector button was pressed while already in the transponder mode, right? Or transponder mode, right? In the XPDR mode. Then there are two enhancements for developers which they made, right? So not, say, really for, say, the people using the flight simulator, but more for the people developing the flight simulator. That's the same thing as applicable to the WT21, also only for developers. So jumping to the aircraft section. So first of all, the Airbus A310. The radio stock broadcasting on KSNS 8 is after departing from KSFO, right? That was a bug, very specific one, but it has been fixed. As well as the vertical speed knob labeled as altitude knob in a tooltip, right? When you hover over a knob, you can switch on the tooltips and you can see what kind of, I would say, a button it is, or in this case, what kind of knob it is, and that has now been addressed. For the Airbus A320 Neo, the version 2, there are some known issues. First of all, loading on the runway in a ready-to-fly state, weight information must be entered into the FMS. So that's something you need to do manually from V2 onwards, as well as the intercept points are sometimes not drawn correctly. Next to that, the FPW low speed protections are not active, with takeoff blending needing some minor adjustments. So this likely will be fixed in future version, as well as the VNAV path shifting in tight radius turns and speed CSTS sometimes are not followed. So there, it looks like the VNAV is, say, not 100% correctly working in that V2 version. Then for the Bell 407, they made several enhancements. First of all, the rotor weight changes, as well as the brake force adjustments for the rotor, as well as the rotor blade dynamic adjustments have been updated. In addition to that, the throttle governed RPM during startup and shutdown has changed. Also, they enhanced or improved the performance of the engine, as well as a change in the fuel management on the weight and balance settings. So there's some minor tweaks being done to that, but that's really cool. As well as the performance data on the aircraft selection screen, right? So there were some, I would say, typos in that's now being fixed, as well as some localization issues. Then the FedEx tooltip, which was showing the incorrect tooltip, that has now been adjusted, as well as the fuel pressure gauge illumination that didn't work correctly. That's now, I would say, hunky-dory, right? So you can now use it as it should be. Then the cold and dark cold and dark state changes. Those, right, you can start from cold and dark, which means that you really need to do everything yourself. And those state changes didn't always work correctly. That's now being fixed, as well as also the checklist correction. There were some errors in the checklist, which you can use to, for example, start from cold and dark mode. That has now been addressed. Jumping to the Boeing 787 and 747, there were some sounds which were incorrect. So they added that in and it should now be working in the beta again. So it was really an issue which was introduced with the beta. And the Cessna Citation CG4 sim, the HC will now know about your planned cruise altitude and will assign you a flight altitude accordingly. I think that's was already fixed for some of the other aircrafts. At least I saw it with some other aircrafts. But looks like that they also now fixed for the Citation CD4, right? So in the flight plan, you can set your altitude. And if you do, you need to do that using the nav log. And if in the nav log, you can see, I would say, kind of the pattern, right? I would say both the climbing rate, then I would say the on route, and then the descent rate, etc. And there you can define the altitude. Previously, when you entered an altitude with CG4, it didn't pick it up, but looks like they made a fix for that. Then the peripherals, there's now a fix for the Oculus Touch left controller switched from Y to menu button. That's now being fixed. And other than that, I would say mainly SDK enhancements as well as developer enhancements, as you can see over here. So pretty nice things which have been added. I'm really looking forward to fly with the Airbus A320neo. So I'm gonna directly try it after recording this video. And keep an eye on my channel because likely you will see a video about that one. Here ends my video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you've got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.